good afternoon. My name is Amanda and welcome to The Done Creative. For today's reading, we are going to be doing something a little bit different than we normally do here on my channel. I've done one other just regular tarot reading, and that was on the CV. I will go ahead and put the word here. Coronavirus! Today's reading is going to be on the 5G technology. This is a message that I want to get out to a lot of people because there is a lot of doom and gloom and conspiracy and all of that surrounding 5G. And I really want to give everybody a more spiritual perspective or take on that. So what we're going to do today is do a reading on the collective energies on the more spiritual side of what 5G is, what 5G means for us and our future and for this world. And as always with my readings, we're going to go ahead and start with the tarot cards and then get additional guidance from the oracle cards. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay them out and see what we get. And this is a newer setup. I'm actually using 2 cameras at once today, so we're going to see how this goes. So let's just go ahead and get into this. And the first card is going to be the overall energy surrounding 5G. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. What this is really telling me, normally the Wheel of Fortune is about positive change. And I don't think 5G in and of itself is meant to be and is energetically a change for the positive in our world, in our society, for our bodies, for our culture, for our world. It's just not it. It's not singing with our bodies. It's creating more dissonance, and instead of working harmonically with our bodies, it's creating a dissonance, which when we are in a dissonance, that's when we make way for disease or dis-ease. But what this is really telling me is that this situation, we can take it in a good way or a more negative way. And there is really no such thing as good or positive and negative. It's just how we perceive that with our minds. So if you want to take this in a more spiritual and positive direction, you have that ability to do that. The Wheel of Fortune is all about moving forward. So you can take this situation of 5G, however it resonates within your life, and you can use that energy to move forward. You can move beyond what it is meant to do. I'm not going to get into the backstory of it here. There are plenty of this word out there for you to peruse. There are plenty of articles you can read, but in the research that I've done, I have not come across a single safety study that says that 5G is safe for the human body, safe for our world. So you can go ahead and do your own research on that topic. That's not what we're here to do today. We are taking what kind of is already out there and trying to get a more spiritual sense of why this is in our lives and what we can do to move through it or move past it or harmonize with the energy of 5G. The Wheel of Fortune tends to be a positive card more so than a negative card. And I'm just taking it as an opportunity for us to evolve ourselves. And usually with the Wheel of Fortune, fortune is on your side, the side of the person being read. And I'm just kind of doing the collective consciousness energies from, of course, a more spiritual perspective. So for me, if you can take a more positive approach to 5G, instead of just falling down the rabbit holes and getting really locked into fear and feeling like your power is being taken away, if you can stay out of that vibration and try to realize that you have your own power and you don't have to give your body or your environment permission for this 5G to permeate. And I know that sounds very out there, very woo-woo, but just hear me out. We have the opportunity at any point to shift gears or take something that we deem as negative and turn it into something positive in our lives. So let's go ahead and look at the energies of the past that are coming in now surrounding 5G. And we have the 8 of Pentacles. So we are being rewarded for a job well done, which this is past energy coming in. And this, of course, with this 5G reading, that seems kind of out there, especially if you've been following what's going on with it and, people burning down these towers and rioting about how dangerous this is. This is just saying that the collective is learning more about it. They are not just going to take what is being said as fact or as gospel. They are going to be taking the knowledge that they know and doing that research. And a lot of times this card has to do with going back to school or getting more education. And I always like to think with this card that knowledge is power. So sometimes you do gotta kind of dig deep and dive down and really get a sense of what it is that is going on. Not just what you're hearing and what's coming through your mind, but what is your intuition telling you about this FG? What is your intuition saying? Is it saying it's something that's detrimental or something that's beneficial? Because whatever it is you believe is kind of how you're going to create with the energy of FG. And I know many of us realize or believe that it's not for the benefits. So of course we can go down that scary rabbit hole of, you know, we're all gonna die, we're all, this something bad's gonna come of this, and it may on some scales. But when you learn everything you can about something, that is when you know, that knowledge is power. That's just what keeps coming into my head. So the more you can research about this and learn about it, not just in the, you know, physical, like this is the effects that it has, but maybe take a more spiritual approach. Maybe go into meditation. Instead of just doing all your research online, maybe go into meditation, go within, ask your guides, ask your higher self what this means for you and what you're meant to learn from it. Because there's nothing that can come into your awareness or into your life that your soul hasn't given permission for. So maybe your ego's like, I never gave permission for this. This is not something I want to be happening in this world. Absolutely not. But on a soul level, you knew before you incarnated here that this may be something you're going to be dealing with or contending with on the physical plane, and your soul obviously gave it permission. But the thing is, the more people that wake up, the more people that realize they have power to change things, the more change we as people can affect on this planet. Because that 1% that tries to run everything and rule the world, they couldn't do anything if they didn't have the other 99% of us pulling all the weight, doing most of the hard work for them. So if that 99% or even a 10% or even less of that percentage was like, you know what, we're not going to allow this to be going on, we're not going to allow it, then that's when change can happen. And you don't have to be somebody who's out there, you know, trying to protest and fighting and creating more fear and more adversity. You don't have to fight it. I use air quotes. You don't have to fight it in order to try to transcend it or move through it. You can just change your own life, change your habits. Maybe if you're living in a crowded apartment complex, you can move farther away from all those smart meters and the energy and, you know, all the EMFs, because even the parks in a big city are bombarded with EMFs, and you can, you know, take your shoes off and try to do the bare feet grounding and all of that, but the benefits would be much better if you were somewhere where all those EMFs just weren't bombarding everything and all the wires and stuff weren't running under the ground. And, you know, you want as natural and untainted of an environment as you can to ground yourself in. And if you can actually live in an environment that is untainted by EMFs, the more the better. I mean, the better off your body is going to be and all of that. Because you can look out her window here, you see beyond these trees here is a city. So it's like she's, you know, she's sitting here drawing on this tablet or whatever, but to me this feels like, you know, out her window there's a city, there is some foliage out here, but at the same time it's like she's creating something different. So yes, I did get a little long-winded on the past coming in, but it feels to me like the past and present and even near future are all very fluid. So let's just go ahead and see what the present moment has to say for us. So we have the Two of Pentacles. So to me, this is just saying that there's so much going on. There's so much information out there. There's a lot of confusion surrounding FG. The powers that be and the official story says this is fine, no one's going to get hurt by this, and then there are other independent people who have researched and realized that this 60 hertz that this FG runs on is something they use as a military weapon. So can it just be good if they're using it as a weapon? It's hard to say. I'm not a scientist, but I really do admire and look up to Nikola Tesla, and many do suggest or speculate that this FG technology is something he created, but much like his death ray, he just didn't want that bad technology out there, so he, I think, tried to hide it. But of course, the world we live in, nothing remains hidden for long, it seems like. So it feels to me like there is very 8th house energy surrounding FG in general to me. But with this Two of Pentacles, this is just saying there's so much going on. There's even confusion about what to believe, what's going on out there, and juggling, like, is this the truth? Is this the truth? I don't really know what to understand or what to believe about this. But the best thing to do in those kinds of situations is to go within and really trust your gut and your intuition, because it will not steer you wrong, especially when it has to do with something as serious as your life and the circumstances of your life. Usually with the Two of Pentacles, it kind of calls for you to have a more playful approach. And in this instance, I'm feeling like that's having a more spiritual understanding, that there may be powers that were, I like to call them the powers that were, that are wanting to keep humanity's vibration low so that this planet cannot evolve the way it was supposed to many eras ago. And now's the time. There's just no holding this back, and it's like they're throwing everything they can at the wall to see what sticks and giving every last ditch effort they can to try to keep the vibration of this planet low, to keep people's vibration low. With the Two of Pentacles, this is just asking you in the present moment to try to keep out of that fear, try to keep your vibration high. If there is a decision you need to make between, should I stay somewhere where FG is really going to affect me, or should I move? These are all things you need to check in with your own personal intuition about. So then in our future, or near future coming up, the future of 5G, we have the Seven of Cups. So again, with the decisions, both of these cards are really heavy on a complex decision that needs to be made. And with the Seven of Cups, there is usually a need to do more research. So if you're someone who doesn't know much about this, it wouldn't hurt to learn more about it. But again, I'm just saying, don't go into that fear, that doom and gloom about what's going on in the world. Try to keep your vibration high. If you realize there is an agenda at play, just keep yourself, you can step out of the collective consciousness at any point. If you don't want something to happen, you can step out of that energy and create a new path for yourself. And that's what this Seven of Cups feels like. And with all these cups filled with different things, there's money, there's a tornado, natural disaster, there's a snake, there's a heart with wings, there's a flower, there's all sorts of stuff going on. And it feels to me like it's like these are the different timelines or paths that you can choose personally to involve yourself in. And if you're someone who wants to live a more holistic life, a more natural life, I think many of you may want to try to get out of cities. That's just what I keep hearing with all these different cards. I'm just hearing that the people who don't want to be affected by this can take the power into their own hands and move away from where this technology is the most concentrated, which of course would be really populated cities. It just feels like you're really going to have to be checking in with your intuition in the near future, if not right now, to figure out what your game plan is for the future. If they are planning to bring this technology, which it sounds like they are, to even the rural areas, there are ways you can ground yourself and protect yourself. This is the card of the best path to follow in the situation, and of course, goody. Yep. So we have the Six of Swords, which is all about things finally looking up after the end of something that was very difficult, the end of a difficult situation. But it's not just this happy la-di-da thing where, yay, I won. Much like the Six of Wands is more of that yay, victorious card, but the Six of Swords is more kind of cutting your losses and moving on from it. Just moving on from what no longer serves you. For many of you, I do feel like in the near future, if not over the next few years, this is going to look like moving to somewhere where you can be closer to nature, where you're not being completely bombarded with those EMFs. But if you are someone who is very sensitive to EMFs like I am, it would be beneficial for you to buy some sort of earthing mat or earthing sheet, grounding sheet. You can look for them on Amazon. It's just a sheet or a mat you can put on your bed or under your desk. But the fitted bed sheets are really good. That's what I recently purchased, and you just can plug it into a grounded outlet, or you can plug it directly into the ground outside your window, and it will ground you to the earth, and it will protect you while you're grounded on that mat or that sheet from the harmful EMFs of the Wi-Fi, the smart meters, the FG, all of that. You will be more grounded and protected from those energies. And of course, if you don't want to spend any money, you can go get it for free outside by putting your feet in the dirt, concrete, not asphalt, but concrete is natural enough that it can absorb those electrons from the ground. Also, sand, the ocean, beaches, very, very beneficial places to go get your ground on. And a great way to offload those positive ions and give your body a chance to recalibrate itself and not be so physically and emotionally and just sensory taxed. You're just taxed constantly. Your energy's being sucked out with all of these EMFs. It's not something that's in harmony with our bodies. So our bodies tend to show disease or illness or chronic fatigue or something like that. That's kind of our body's way of saying this just isn't beneficial to us. And that's kind of trying to get us to wake up to the fact that chronic fatigue isn't normal and being so sick isn't normal. And it's because we just have, as a people, gotten so far away from the way that we should live that we are seeing the effects of that in our health and our wellness. So the wish coming true for us in this scenario, we have the death card. And again, death card, I say this every time, death card is nothing to be afraid of. It does not usually mean actual death. It can, but it doesn't always. It's usually about a rebirth or a transformation. It's a transformational thing, the end of a phase or a situation. And the death card always shows up when there's some sort of spiritual awakening or spiritual transformation that's about to play out. And I feel like many of you already are on a spiritual path, or you probably would not have clicked on this video to begin with, but this just feels like you guys, it's like saying, there aren't going to be, not everyone's going to make it out unscathed from FG technology. There are going to be people who actually do go down with the ship, so to speak, but I feel like those people who are looking to raise their vibrations and live their purposeful life here on this planet, you're not going down with the ship, if that makes any sense. You're here to use this energy to realize that this world is kind of ass backwards and try to transform it into something beautiful, something that is for human life and the life of animals and the life of a healthy planet, and not a life of greed and hoarded wealth and all of that we've kind of been conditioned to try to strive toward. And this is just a transformation of our culture as a whole. Because of this technology, people are waking up on an astronomical level. That paired with what's going on with this CV, put the word here, going on this planet, everybody being in lockdown and in quarantine, people are having more time to research things, more time to go within and really check in with the way they feel and if this world is the way it should be. And when we do return to normal, and again, normal, what's normal? When we return to the world, it's not going to be the way that it was before. It's going to be evolved, and it's going to continue to evolve, I feel, for at least the next decade, because people are realizing that all the different systems in place, all the governments in place, it's just broken, and we need something that's going to serve the planet, the animals, the people, and not just serve people who want to line their pockets. So, as our outcome card, we have, this is great, you guys, we have the 10 of Cups. So, this is just that contented and rewarding family life. Getting back to your roots is just what I heard, and I'm just feeling like the emotional and material needs of you and your family and the people you love are going to be met. and there will be trustworthy relationships that will form because of this. So this, I'm feeling like with the Wheel of Fortune as our overall energy, this FG technology is kind of a wake-up call. And one thing I forgot to mention with this death card that just occurred to me just now is that the death card is, in my opinion, tied to the 8th house. The 8th house is all about secrets and hidden agendas, and it feels to me like this is the wish coming true. Those secret agendas and hidden knowledge, they are coming to light. Your average person is going to be learning the truth of these situations and what's going on behind the scenes. It may not all happen overnight. Cognitive dissonance is a really real and big thing that's going on kind of on a grand scale right now, with a lot of this conspiracy stuff coming out, and people are either believing it or they're not, and it's actually right now feels like it's creating a big division between people. Like there's a big chasm that is growing. It's not just Democrats and Republicans or Christians and Muslims anymore. Like it's, are you a conspiracy theorist or are you not? And it's just becoming something that, you know, a lot more people are speaking out about, but it's becoming something also that a lot of people who just aren't willing to see anything but the official narrative are starting to almost attack people who are speaking something other than what they've been told by the news. So I think that's what I'm getting mostly from the tarot reading, and I'm wondering if I should completely move these or what. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and move these out of our way. We can refer back to them if we have to. To go ahead and jump into the oracle cards. Okay, so I hope we can see all of that at the top. I can never get everything exactly the way I want, it seems like, so I hope this lines up on our top camera there. But we're just going to go ahead and start in the middle here. And it says it's time to release negative energy with the full moon in Scorpio. And again, Scorpio is that 8th house natural ruler. And this to me feels like the fact that FG is out there, it is actually bringing up this negative energy and negativity within us that needs to be released. So it's actually serving our good in some capacity. It's helping us feel that dissonance within our own cells, within our own body, that is actually going to help wake us up to something better. It's time to release the old to make room for the new. And with this full moon in Pisces card, balanced spirituality and practicality. So this is calling for us to have that spiritual approach, but not forgetting the physicality, because we have to survive in this physical world. And the fact that this planet is ascending, it's going to tell you that the vibration of the whole planet and everything on it is raising more and more every day. So that actually helps us with this FG technology. Again, that sounds out there, that sounds woo-woo, but you can look into things such as the Schumann resonance and the way that the poles are shifting right now, and realize that this world is on the move for change. There is no more operating in this past energy. Even though it feels like things are going backward and getting worse, they really aren't. It's just that the powers that were are throwing, like I say, their last-ditch efforts. They're throwing them out there, and more darkness is coming to light. More secrets are coming to be revealed, and that makes it feel like the world is just complete chaos. It's falling apart. It's always actually already been that way. It's just most people didn't understand or realize that was the case. But because more light is being shown, more light is happening on this planet, the vibration is raising. It's showing and pointing out what's not serving this planet, what's not serving the people. And it's becoming blatantly obvious to anyone with eyes to see that something's wrong with the way we have been doing things from right now all the way to the past. But that doesn't mean that we're doomed to just stay in that cycle. We're moving on. We're releasing that negative energy and moving on into a higher vibration as a planet, as a people, as a society. Then here we have visualization, higher consciousness, and new location. So to me this feels like, visualization, daydreaming about the reality you want to create, daydreaming about if you're stuck in an apartment in a city somewhere, daydreaming about getting out in nature and moving somewhere where you can be more connected to the earth. And because we got the higher consciousness card, this just is saying there's a need for more spirituality in all of our lives. And if we can take a more spiritual approach where FG is concerned and not just, again, be pulled down into the fear of what's going on in the world, we can actually see it from that top-down perspective and realize we are okay, we are taken care of. Of course, our physical bodies may have ailments and we may feel ill or tired a lot because of these EMFs bombarding us. We can get in touch with our soul and that higher consciousness within us to help raise us out of this stagnation, this stuck energy, and the negativity. We can rise above it. And it does sound woo-woo, and I'm not saying to just be in your head visualizing all day and picturing yourself somewhere where you're not, because that's not going to get you very far unless you take action in the direction you want to go or in toward the thing you want to accomplish. And that's why a new location is popping up for some people. This is just asking you to really take stock in where you're living. Is this place you're living enhancing your health, enhancing your life? Or is it making you sick? Is it making you tired? Is it bringing you down vibrationally? If the answer to those questions is yes, it might be time for you to take that higher consciousness approach to figure out what you need to do to find a better place for yourself to exist on this planet. And for many people, it's going to look like having to move from where they're at because you're trying, I won't say you're outrunning the FG technology, but you're trying to establish yourself somewhere where you can really grow and shine and thrive. So then here we have call upon Archangel Raphael for help, meditation, and leave a stressful situation behind. And how funny is this, that the meditation, higher consciousness, leave the situation behind, new location, those two mirror each other so well. It's just, you can't make this stuff up, you guys. It's just saying you need to, if you can, meditate, tap into that higher consciousness within yourself, look for something more and something beyond just this physical 3D world, because that's when you're going to find the answers that you seek for anything in life, but especially to take care of yourself and your family. You will use the information you get from your soul to make an informed decision. So these complex decisions you had with the Two of Pentacles and that Seven of Cups, you will be able to make the best decision for yourself and for your family by meditating, by tapping into that higher consciousness, by balancing that spirituality and practicality, and by releasing negative energies or belief systems that are keeping you trapped. So leaving that stressful situation behind is going to be the key for many people. And of course, if we are tied to our roots, where we grew up, maybe there's some of you watching that never left your hometown, and to you that sounds like the last thing you want to do. I totally understand. You may already live somewhere where you're going to be fine, and you'll have to use your own intuition and feel like, no, I'm meant to stay here. Then absolutely stay. But I think for many of you, you've already had this inkling, like, it just doesn't feel good. It feels toxic living where I am, just energetically. And many of you will, over the next 5 years, maybe even less, decide to leave your current location and find something better. But with the call upon Archangel Raphael card, this is saying you have the opportunity to call on any of your angels or guides for help at any time. Anytime you're feeling stuck or sick, just ask that they help you find a way forward. Help that they alleviate a little bit of the burden that you're feeling or a little bit of the illness that you're feeling. And you can move forward with a better grip on what you need to do with the help and support of your guides and angels with you. So let's go ahead and move into our next set of cards. Okay, so we have Rainbow Blessings, we have Cave Sanctuary, and DNA Karma. To me, this rainbow is just representing that energy that happens after the storm. After we come out of the places that FG is really heavy energetically, or we as a society decide we don't want FG in our area and we annihilate it, or whatever it is that happens, whatever plays out, whatever happens after we go through all of that, we will be blessed. There will be blessings on the other side of our hard work or dedication to finding the truth and doing what's best for our family. Then with this cave sanctuary, he's barefoot on this ground, and I can't say enough about earthing and just putting your feet on the ground, your bare feet on the ground, and reconnecting yourself. Because many of us operate like, say we're a toaster. You can't really get a good browning on your toast if you don't plug the toaster in to the outlet. Well, it's much the same if we don't, as physical people, put ourselves on the earth. It's like we're just operating as a toaster not plugged into the wall, if that makes any sense. Of course, we can still accomplish a great many things and do all these things, but imagine how much more you could do, how much better you could feel about your life if you actually plug yourself into the source of our, the earth is our mother. We plug ourselves back into her loving, beautiful, divine energy, and there's just no stopping us. We are just so alive and electric, almost, is just the words I keep getting, if we can reconnect ourselves to that loving earth energy. So then here we have the DNA karma card, and if you've been following the evolution of this world at all, or the ascension into 5D, you will know that as a human species we are evolving or upgrading. Our DNA is being reactivated. We are becoming more what we were always meant to be as human beings on this planet. You can do some research, but originally we had 12-strand DNA, which was reduced down to a 2-strand DNA, like this caduceus with the snakes here. We are evolving back to our original blueprint. That so-called junk DNA that you always hear people talking about is not junk at all. It's just not understood. And as we evolve more into who we were meant to, and operating from more of our original blueprint, we are almost just making it seem like this FG or any kind of EMFs and all this stuff that the powers that were are doing to try to keep our vibration low, it's not gonna compute anymore. It's just gonna be them putting the signal out. Say it's a radio, they're putting a signal out on 88.9 FM. But you're over on 96.3 FM. It's just not even on your radar. You don't hear it, you don't feel it, you don't see it, you can't taste it, you can't touch it. It just doesn't affect your life. So to me, it feels like the more you put into your spiritual practice and keeping yourself as safe and protected and healthy as you can, and listening to your intuition about where you need to be on the planet, that's going to help your DNA evolve itself quicker. And because this is a card all about karma, this FG technology is karma that many of us are paying off. And I don't want you guys to look at karma as some sort of punishment or something. It's usually just that before we incarnate, we say, I want to do all these things and I want to pay off this karma, this debt from the past life of, 50 lifetimes ago or something, so that I can evolve my soul. So basically, this is just the upgrading, karma. Going through karma, having karma come back to you, is just you leveling up. You're going through, I keep giving all these weird little examples, but it's just the best way for me to describe what I'm seeing in my head and what I feel, is like you're in Mario Brothers, and that very first original Nintendo game, and you start at the beginning, and of course you have all these obstacles in your way. Look at those obstacles as the karma that you're looking to complete or transmute in this lifetime. Every level you go up again and again and again, all that karma is behind you. You've done it, you've put in the work, and you've evolved past it. And for me, this is just part of our, as a society, as a human race, this is a part of our collective karma that we are playing out and eventually transmuting, because we do have a positive outcome with that Wheel of Fortune as our overall energy. Okay, so then we have courage, crystal clear intentions, and leadership. So absolutely, there is no reason for any of us to go down that spiral of fear and lack at this point. It's easy to do, of course, if you are doing research, you will feel very disempowered, but we all forget that we have these powerful lions of spirit, our guides, our angels, God, Him, Her, itself, behind us. We are God. We are made up of that fractal of that infinite source. We are a piece of that, each and every one of us. And we have the support of the divine with us at all times. And it says here, Archangel Ariel, be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. So this may call some of you forward to start speaking out about what you know is wrong about FG. That doesn't mean everybody has to be a spokesperson, but if you are someone who feels called to be speaking out about it, then absolutely take that role, because many of you watching this are leaders on the front lines of this spiritual evolution of our planet. It says here, it's time for you to assume your leadership power and position and lovingly guide others. So these two really go well together, standing up for your beliefs to help guide other people. And the best way for you to do that is to set those crystal clear intentions. With Archangel Michael, be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. So focus on the outcome you want, not the outcome of gloom and doom. If you want FG to become some obsolete thing that we tried as a species at one point and it's just in our past, put yourself on that path. That FG is just going to have to go by the wayside because something more harmonious and organic is going to take its place. It may have the same, if not better, benefits, just in what we see, but it will also be better for our human bodies. And it feels to me like that's the way this is going. People want to feel good in their bodies. They want to feel good in their homes. They don't want to feel like they have to move all the time because they're putting up new towers everywhere. That's not any way to live. And I have a feeling many people are going to start rising up, and becoming those lions here in the background and roaring to life with the truth that they know to be real and standing up for their beliefs, that this is not a technology we want. We are better than that as a society, as a human species, that we can come up with something that is not going to hurt the earth, that's not going to hurt our bodies, that's not going to hurt the animals. With the research that I've done, it feels like that's what's going on now. Is FG is that technology that is hurting and doing more harm than good. But by putting all of our intentions in there to have something better take its place, or to have it just phased out completely, that's what we all should be doing. So I think that's all I'm seeing for this reading, and I really do hope that this helped you figure that this is not some doom and gloom scenario. We're gonna be okay. There was nothing gloom and doom in this reading whatsoever, and I keep saying gloom and doom, but it's just like the two words that keep coming up, gloom, doom. It's not gonna be that way, and we have this beautiful future to create for ourselves with these complex decisions that we need to be making. This spiritual transformation many of us as a people are going through, moving on from what's not serving us and just making the best decisions with our intuition that we can to evolve ourselves and clear that karma of the past and create that new earth, that new world we've all been incarnated to bring about. So I hope that this resonated. You'll have to let me know below what your thoughts are on FG, and if you have a more spiritual perspective like I do, or if you've been down the rabbit hole and you completely disagree with me about what I've said here today. As long as everybody's respectful, I am always open for you to leave what you believe down below. And as always, you guys, thanks again so much for all your likes, comments, shares, subscribes, and all the things. And I really truly do hope to see you back at the Den Creative. Alright, bye!